Occupy Wall Street protests are now in their fourth week, and the movement is spreading to other cities. Politicians are taking note of the demonstrators' growing frustration over the economy. So earlier I talked to John Aravosis with America Blog of the Democratic Party Persuasion, and Doug High, a blogger and Republican strategist. So let's talk about how Occupy Wall Street and politics may be colliding. The Tea Party, thought that unfair government, that it was unfair that the government was bailing out the big guys, similar to what is provoking this Occupy Wall Street. So you have to wonder, John, Occupy Wall Street says it's not political, yet do you see it in some way influencing the race for 2012?
Potentially, yes. I mean, I think what started off as a small protest that, a lot of us didn't pay attention to. I admit that the first month I wasn't really watching it very closely either, has turned into something kind of large that now we've got the president weighing in, we've had Nancy Pelosi, we've had the Republican candidates. I think it's impossible to avoid the political implications, but especially if this turns into more of a nationwide movement where people's frustration about the economy, about not taking on Wall Street and finding out how they got us into this mess, I think that per se will have a political element in an election year.
Doug, is it inevitable?
I don't think it's inevitable. We need to see more of what this is about. The Tea Party really started as a reaction to Obamacare, to the stimulus bill, as well as the bailouts. We don't know what this agenda, if there is an even agenda, is. And part of the circus and sideshow that we've seen from this turn people off.
They've been pretty open about a lot of things, from, big government bailing out, big banks, etc., unemployment being what it is, people having a hard time getting a job. I mean, it's a hodgepodge. There's a lot of stuff that is voicing frustration.
Lack of banking reform, lack of investigating Wall Street, no prosecutions of a single person on Wall Street. Come on.
Okay, so then, Doug, back to you. Is it going to be up to these presidential contenders, to involve what's going on in Wall Street in their campaigning?
Well, I think they've been doing that anyways, and they'll continue to talk about the economy and jobs. It's certainly what Herman Cain's background speaks to, is what Mitt Romney's talked about, Governor Perry's record in Texas.
But so far it looks like Ron Paul's the only one who's really kind of chiming in with, I relate to what's going on with Occupy Wall Street. The other candidates are kind of staying away from it.
And that's probably why you see him in the polls not exactly doing very well.
All right, sorry, Doug, on that again?
I think that's why you see Ron Paul not actually doing very well in the polls when it comes to where the candidates
He's done well in some recent straw polls. Okay, so, John, give me an idea whether these other candidates, Ron Paul has kind of stuck himself out there. He has been talking about the Occupy Wall Street. Are the other Republican contenders going to feel some pressure that they've got to make a very clear stand on where they are with Occupy Wall Street, and whether people who are there in Lower Manhattan are going to feel the pressure to make it a political event?
I think there's going to be ongoing pressure and increasing pressure for the Republicans to show some sympathy for Main Street. I think traditionally the Republican Party has a little too much sympathy for Wall Street and not enough for the middle class. And I think, one might even say the Republicans practice class warfare by only representing the upper class. So I think there's always that pressure, but it depends where these protests go. They have grown exponentially over the last month, really. If it keeps growing at this rate, I don't know how the candidates are going to sort of avoid talking about it and expressing some sympathy.